You commented in the annual report that only part of GEICO's marketing expense last year was required to maintain the business. This seems to get to the heart of owner earnings, where in the first part you can value the existing business very well through this observation, and you get a direct measure of the dollars invested in new business. And it seems that you should be able to make similar observations about other businesses that you may be interested in investing in. So could you use this as a jumping off point to describe examples perhaps of how you contemplate companies' marginal investment opportunities or their return on marginal capital? And how much weight do you give to the value of the existing business in your investment decisions, or the value of the, so to speak, in-force book?
Well, we, as we explained earlier, are looking for ways to create more than $1 of value per dollar we lay out. We'd love to create $3 of value or $4 of value, but we'll settle for $1.10 if that's all we can get. We don't consciously make decisions that are 90-cent decisions for a dollar laid out. None of this is that precise when you get into the application of it. What we do know is that there's enough of a margin at, say, a GEICO expansion effort that it's pretty compelling that it makes sense. Part of the limitation there, as I explained in the report, too, is a question of infrastructure and all of that. So it isn't solely a question of saying, you know, can we lay out another dollar and will that have a value of $1.10? Because if we strain the organization beyond its ability to service people, we may be hurting the book business already on the books. I use the GEICO example in the report because it's big enough so it's meaningful to shareholders. I mean, we're doing things all the time that cost us money in the short run that we think will more than produce a commensurate value over time, but not on the scale that we're doing it at GEICO currently, and we may step up that scale even. So I thought it important to lay out those figures, even though I can't be precise. When I say, you know, that it might be $50 million to maintain, I don't know that figure. It could be 70, it could be 30, you know, maybe I'm off even more than that. But that's my best guess, and I think the shareholders are entitled to my best guess, and they're entitled to know how much we are spending beyond that maintenance cost to build the business for the future, which we don't obviously capitalize on the balance sheet. So those, GEICO's by far the most dramatic, and we don't have comparable expenditures like that going on elsewhere. But we are spending significant money, for example, to take NetJets to Europe, and we'll be spending it this year and next year, and then as soon as that starts looking good, we'll be going to Asia and spending more money. I mean, all of those decisions are made that way. They're not on the scale of the GEICO decision, though, at all. We want to give you the information in the report that, related to the size of the enterprise, would be material to Charlie or me if we were reading the report and not involved in the business in trying to figure out what our investment was all about. That's the goal and what we write. And then to keep it to a size that doesn't have to be sent UPS. Incidentally, I'm glad I got wandering along on that line, because we did have a lot of shareholders this year that got their reports even later than they received them in past years. Now, they were delivered, the reports that go to registered holders were put in the mail a few days after we go up on the internet here in Omaha, and they seem to get delivered okay. Street name holders, which are 10 times in number what the registered holders are, so we're really talking about 9 out of 10 shareholders, get their reports from a firm in New Jersey that is designated by their broker to take the reports from us and remail them. We pay those people a fair amount of money to do that. We know when we deliver those reports to them, which is promptly, and we know when they tell us that they send them out, and we inquire every day or more than once a day to find out whether they've gone out. And we got a lot of complaints this year that people hadn't received them at a time when you would have thought they would have received them. So we can either, we know when the designated mailer received them. We don't know for sure when they got them out, and we don't know for sure what happens at the post office. But the mailing went out about the same as in previous years, but the receipt apparently was somewhat later, and all we can say is that we apologize, but we don't have any better system. The people that have them in their own name will always get them dropped in the mail a couple of days after the report appears on the internet. We can assure you of that. We can't assure you of when the street name holders will get their reports, because that is a mailing that we don't handle, and no other companies handle them, to my knowledge. There is a firm that seems to do about 95% of that, and is designated by the specific broker with whom you have your shares.